All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you are in this beautiful world. Welcome to our Inner Circle Live pre-New York session. I'm your host, Ryan Carthage. We'll be joined shortly by also part of Mr. Benny Allen. Hope everybody's doing well today. As always, let's turn off all distractions, grab a pen and paper, let's take lots of notes, and let's make sure that we participate and engage. And as always, we want to make sure that we start our day off by taking massive action. And that action stands for accepting all possible losses before entering a trade, preparing you for any outcome, setting yourself, body, mind, and spirit, ensuring a balanced approach to trading, trust in your education, strategy, trade skills, and intuition. Imagine your trade successfully materializing. Obey your trading strategy, avoid decisions based on greed or fear, and never looking back or stopping once your trade has commenced. All right. So let's get down to it. If everybody can hear me okay, just drop me one in the chat. Get rocking. Perfect. All right. Appreciate it. Um, let's get updated on some data. Had a few things happen yesterday, or one thing happened yesterday, and then we had some data come out this morning as well. So over to let's actually go to the calendar first, and then we'll take a look at trading economics. All right, so yesterday, Benny dropped an article in the community discussing retail sales data came in below expectation, right? So showing some challenges when it comes to consumer spending, right? Um, yeah. So that led to some more weakness in the dollar, right? So we'll watch and see how things continue to evolve, but this is an indicator of uh, some struggles when it comes to spending in the United States. All right. So then this morning, CPI for the pound, right? It's the headline inflation number came in at 2%. So they got the headline number back to their target range of 2 to 3% in the UK. The core rate, excluding volatile items, gas, food, right? That's still above at 3.5%, but came in at expectation. So this will be interesting to see how things play out with their rate statement tomorrow, right? You had PPI come in below expectation. Excuse me. Input come in above expectation and output come in below expectation. So this will be interesting to see how things play out come tomorrow in their rate statement. All right. I didn't get a chance to read over the meeting minutes for the Bank of Japan. I'll take a look at those and get an update for you guys as well, but it didn't seem to have a major impact in the market per se, because things are already pushing to the upside on the yen. So, but I have an update for you guys later on that. Um, then today we have meeting minutes for the Bank of Canada, right? We got bank holiday here in the United States with Juneteenth. And then tonight we have GDP for the New Zealand dollar. All right. So that is that. Over to trading economics, talking about that inflation rate. Annual inflation rate in the UK slowed to 2% in May, lowest since July 2021 from 2.3 in April, in line with the forecast. The inflation returned to Bank of England's 2% target, led by a slowdown in the cost of food. Services inflation, however, remains sticky. Meanwhile, the annual core inflation eased to 3.5 from 3.9, right? So they're making progress. All right. They're making progress. So we'll continue to monitor the data there. Euro current account surplus in the euro area widened sharply to 34.4 billion euros in April from 5.5 billion a year earlier. Good surplus increase to 33.1 billion from 6.4 billion, and services surplus went up 11.7 billion. So, right, current accounts in the euro increased, right? So they're holding more euros. Let's see. Brent crude futures held on 85.3 per barrel on Wednesday, hovering at its highest levels in 7 weeks as escalating conflict in Eastern Europe and the Middle East reignite supply concerns in Russia. The Ukraine drone strike caused a fire at an oil terminal at a major port, while top Israel official warned of an impending all-out war with Lebanon's Hezbollah. Oil prices are always supported. Were also supported by re- recently by robust global demand growth forecasts, OPEC and IEA and the U.S. EIA all predicting solid oil demand growth in the second half of the year. See how that goes, right? Moreover, key OPEC Plus members such as Russia and Iraq reaffirmed their adherence to production quotas, while Saudi Arabia indicated the willingness to adjust output in response to market conditions. So, right, those Middle East concerns starting to pick back up. And there also hasn't been a ceasefire agreed to either, which a lot of your major countries were pushing for. So that continues to be a major concern as things continue to escalate in the Middle East. Japan export growth beats estimate, right? So it's starting to see some other data for the uh, Japanese yen come out above expectation, supporting the Bank of Japan's goal to increase rates again, potentially next month. We shall see. Um, that's it from a fundamental perspective. Benny, good morning, bro.
Ryan, good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. How about yourself?
Oh man, doing pretty good. Always glad to be here with the team.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Anything fundamentally top of mind for you? Anything to add to anything that we went over?
No, man, you pretty much covered it all. I just waiting on that rate decision from the UK, you know.
Yeah,
That's the main thing for me this week. I'm seeing how they come out, seeing if any other members, right, that number of members increases for a rate cut or whatnot. I mean, it's good to see they get that they've gotten that inflation back to 2% to that target. So we'll see. I think they're gonna hold rates, right? Like we talked about yesterday, but it'll be all about that forward guidance and then to see if any other members got on board, for a rate cut. So waiting on that as I'm looking at I'm currently in that pound CAD play that we talked about yesterday. So
yeah. So
just want
it started to make a nice move to the upside on that.
yeah, so just want to see what happens with that.
All right, beautiful. Appreciate it, man.
Yep.
Team, anybody got anything to add fundamentally? No, no. Anybody from the accountability group? Give us highlights on what you guys discussed first half of the week.
So we have finished Zurich Axioms. Um, so really proud of that. And
Awesome.
this has been a really interesting read because it challenged a lot of conventional thinking with regard to he likes to call it speculation. And in fact, the last chapter, he talks about don't do long-term planning. And he gave a couple of examples
Mm,
of, taking a stock and just holding on to it for dear life because you think that it's going to give you something very far in the future. It was a good example, and we sort of challenged some concepts a little bit, and that's what this book has allowed us to do, is
awesome.
to look at what it is that he's saying and not take everything just, just because he said it, but understanding the perspective from which he comes and applying it to our trading lives. So it's been really good for that. I'm looking forward to reading it again because it's not a very long read, but it's something that I think that can be very useful in the lives of anyone who's trading anything.
Awesome. Awesome. I love it. Appreciate that insight, Miss K. If anybody hasn't picked up that book, definitely grab it if you're able to. Any other feedback from the accountability group?
Oh, and also I think that because I'm looking at the chat, so I don't know who else is here. But so we finished this book for the month of June. So we're gonna, some of us are gonna be going back over it. I remember, Ryan, you said several months ago that you read books at least twice and even more than that. So and Tyrone mentioned that yesterday as well. So we're doing that. But for the month of July, the accountability group has decided that we're going to cover the Candlestick Bible
All
for
right.
those of us who are new, particularly for Michelle and me. For Michelle and me. So I am really super excited. I think Michelle is excited as well. And so for anyone who is new or for anyone who needs review, to make sure that they tap in. But yes, and as Donette just put in the chat, the Zurich axioms that we finished yesterday. So
I love it. I love it. Appreciate the updates, Ms. K. Um, if you haven't yet, tap into the accountability group, man. The additional support, the additional insight, right? Looking at things from different perspectives. Tons of growth happening there. So if you haven't been able to tap in to the accountability group, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. All right. So let's hop over to the charts, take a look at things, peek at the dollar as it just moves sideways. Let's go to the 4, right? And you see press back down a bit yesterday, right? But ultimately we're still stuck in a bit of a range here, right? And we'll look to see if we press further down or if we start to get some movement back to the upside, right? So we'll just continue to monitor the dollar and trade what we see, right? And wait for the data to come out to push us in one direction or the other. All right. Overall, that's the larger fib on the DXY. And that 618 retracement, we got that trend line break. We pulled back and now we're kind of range bound a bit. See if we get something else to push us to the upside here. Okay. So that is the DXY. Let's hop over and look at that pound CAD Benny brought up. We talked about yesterday. Couple things here on the 4, right? 618 retracement. We had that consolidation, and we got a nice bullish push here, right? So potentially pullback and then a continuation to the upside. Okay, right? We do have a rate statement coming in tomorrow for the pound, so we'll monitor that to see. We also have some headwinds on oil that could potentially give oil a bit of a boost as well. So this will be interesting to see if we're able to get this to carry to the upside to get us to the matching D extension at 766.10. All right. 176.176610. So that's on the 4. Come down to the 1 and a couple different perspectives there, right? Fresh AB boundary, 618 retracement. Right? So reversal coming there. Okay. Matching extension, same area as that 4-hour. Okay. So looking for price to move to the upside here. It's already given us a nice little push. So, right, we'll look for potentially a slight pullback and then see if we're able to get price to continue moving long there. Okay. But that move to the upside there was your trend line break. outermost point of the consolidation, trend line break, see if we get a pullback, and then continuation long. Okay, so there's your opportunity. We talked about it yesterday. See if we get a pullback in that range. There's your stop loss, about right there. Okay. And then you move to the upside, right? And if you look at this, Benny showed us the math over the weekend, right, regarding those 2-to-1s and 3-to-1 scenarios, right? 127 pips, 233. So that's a little less than 2-to-1, but almost a 2-to-1. Move to the upside there if we get that full move to the upside. All right. So that's the pound CAD. Starting to make its move back long. Any questions on the pound CAD? Nope. All right. Cool deal. So get this pound Aussie. This one's been lingering for a bit. We talked about it yesterday. Some interesting conversation, right? We got two different crown pattern potentials here, right? A bearish crown and a bullish crown. But you see price turn back over and press back down, right? Sitting at the trend line right now. This is on the daily. Okay, this is on the daily. So I left both of them on there to see which way price ultimately moves. And we had some bullish data and conversation out of Australia yesterday. So we're sitting at the trend line now. Haven't been able to break the trend line, right? We'll see what direction price moves. We have a stochastic pushing down into the buy zone as we speak. So we'll watch and see if we get a flip or if we stall until tomorrow and we get a breakdown to the downside. Okay, so that's on the daily time frame. Come down to the 4. You see we just pushed back down to that support level, right? Previous support here, right? So do we get on the 4-hour time frame, do we also have another potential crown pattern? Or yes. Right? So couple different scenarios that we're looking at this from, but could be in for either a move to the upside in favor of the pound if they hold rates and don't come out with a dovish tone in the conversation, and the number of votes doesn't change drastically, right? We could see that move back to the upside, or we could just see a breakdown and a fail, right? Continue moving down. So couple different scenarios to continue to monitor, but we did push back down to this previous support level, right? That's what I wanted to show here. And now we look to see if that level holds or if we break that level. All right. Down on the 1, we push down to hit that D extension. And now we're looking for a reset. Okay. Now we're looking for a reset. So this one I'm going to be monitoring off of the higher time frames, right? To see if we get this shift. Or if we get the breakdown. But that's where we sit on the pound Aussie. Questions here? No? All right.
No.
We'll do. Appreciate it. Pound yen. Running long. As expected. Okay. We know we hit that D extension here on the daily time frame. Had price push down, so we have a new level of resistance there. We'll take that out. All right, these levels also got taken out. That did not play out, so we'll take that off and we're pushing long, right? We do have a level of resistance here. All right, so there's a resistance over there. We're pressing back to it, okay? We also have monthly and weekly D extension at 206, 231. All right, so that's this red line here. We'll see if we continue to elevate to get to that level, okay? Down on the 4, we know we got a 50% retracement, pushing long, matching D extension at 202 on the 4-hour, okay? So it headed that way. We'll shift that there. We'll delete that. Boom. Okay, so we're headed that way. So we'll watch and see how things continue to transpire. We'll adjust our trend line to include those wicks like that. Boom. All bullish, right? All bullish. So that's where we sit right now on the pound yen. Moving long. We'll see what happens tomorrow with the data. There we go. All right. Matching the extension there, 202 in line with that 4-hour matching the extension as well. All right. Questions on the pound yen. I just want to go through these quickly just to get an update on where they are ahead of. Yes, I did, Reese. Yep, I did. Um, took it on the sub fib. Beautiful, beautiful, cool, love it. So we're headed to the upside there. All right. But just want to look at these ahead of that rate statement and see how it moved with the data, right? So the headline inflation number got back down to 2%, but we're seeing price continue to move long, right? So that means there's still some bullish response in the pound, leaning towards what Benny was talking about yesterday in them holding rates, not cutting, and looking at more of the vote count and just the overall sentiment of the conversation. Okay. So here on the pound dollar, pressing back long. Haven't gotten to that 382 yet there either. 1 second, everybody. All right. Apologize for that. But we're headed back long, right? We had a daily support here that we weren't able to break, and we're pushing back to the upside. So we're still in this overall range here. Just that to the upside there. And got a swing low there. So that's our support level. So here's our range here that we're bouncing between, right? Is this a crown here, JC? Is that what you're talking about?
Further back, like a bigger crown, like that top is kind of like double topping at the left tip.
Would this be in the high?
Yep.
Could be if price turns over.
Okay.
Yeah, if we get price to turn over. Yep, good eye. Good eye, good eye, good eye. Right? So we'll see how price continues to move in this range. Right? Still sitting pretty high. And with right. So with the dollar, you still have that back and forth conversation where the data continues to come out and kind of support a little bit. The folks that say, oh, they're going to have multiple rate cuts this year, right? But the Fed still holds and stands pat on, no, we won't. So this will be interesting to see how it moves, right? And what happens with the pound first and then with the dollar after that. So, but we shall see, right? So crown pattern there. We'll see if that plays out. Okay, so that's on the daily time frame. Down to the 4. We'll make these same adjustments with our support levels and our resistance levels. Boom. See that range a little bit more clearly there. And there's our overall fib on this, right? It's a larger fib, but 786 retracement here. And we've been pushing to the upside, taking its time, but pushing to the upside. So it'll be interesting to see if we're able to break above this 128,600, 128,930 zone. Okay. But pressing back to the upside right now. Okay. We'll come down to the 1. We'll just zoom in on this last leg here. Right. And this is the 80-20. Price is moving out of that zone beautifully. Right. Got us a TP2. right there. Now we'll watch and see how things move. That's that new support level. And that's that new resistance level, right? So beautiful move out of the zone from last week, right? Now let's see if we carry, right? Or if we settle in here and move back down to the downside. Okay. So there we are. Questions on the pound dollar? No. All right. Cool deal. Let's take a look at, I haven't updated these charts, but let's look at this pound NZD. Walk this back to the daily. All right. Overall, this is where we sit, AB boundary, and just been range bound overall. Right. So we'll adjust the support level there. We got a resistance level. Pull all these sub fibs. Yeah, I'll pull them out and we'll walk through it individually. I don't trade this one a lot, so that's why you see some old stuff here. But it's all still kind of held true, right? We got the support levels there. We got a support level here. Resistance hasn't been broken. Resistance hasn't been broken. Resistance hasn't been broken, right? So just range bound overall. But 50% retracement, trying to continue pushing long, had a press down. This is the sub fib off the high in that 118, 127 zone. Let's go down to the 4. Look at this. All right, there's our capital fib on the 4. Trying to make its way to the upside. Okay. Trying to make its way to the upside. So not a ton there. Let's go down to the 1. And there's our capital fib on the 1. Strong bullish push, pull back. See if we get price to continue moving long there. Okay. So that's where we are. Pushing to the upside, right? And we'll see if we're able to continue that move. There's that sub fib off the low. Right. 8-6 retracement, got the consolidation. Let's see if we're able to continue to carry to the matching D extension there at 208.777. Questions on the pound New Zealand? Oh, all right,
Nope.
cool. Cool deal. Pound Swissy. Whoops. There we go. Right. So we came back down to just shy of this daily support level here, right? Do we get another push down to this 111,643 to give us a double bottom and then turn over and push back to the upside, right? The Swissy's been relatively strong, right? Let's do this. Daily resistance there. I'm going to take these levels out. Boom. And we got another resistance level here. All right. So let's see what happens here. Right. Been a nice move to the downside. Right. Do we settle in, maybe push a little bit deeper and then turn over and push back long? Down on the 4. Similar story. 618 retracement. Missed the D extension. Okay. So are we able to turn back over and push back to the upside? And down to the 1. There we are. Okay. So this is a larger fib here. Came down to that zone 618 level, pushed back down to that 618 level. And now we're trying to turn over a little bit. And there's your 80-20 on the sub fib to the downside. Shallow retracement 118 127 zone. There's your trend line break, right? We may not get a pullback, but if we do, whoops, right? Small pullback on a lower time frame. And then 80-20 opportunity, at least to TP1, right? And we'll see if this carries over the long term, right? From those higher time frame fibs, right? But there's your 80-20 scenario there on the pound Swiss. Entry would have been there. Questions here? Anybody in this move to the upside? Curious.
Yes, I'm in that mood.
Beautiful. Beautiful, Tyrone. Great work. Great work.
Let me just get my list up. Yes, yeah, I'm on the move to the upside with that one.
I love it. You've seen it as too awesome. Great work, guys. I love it. I love it. All right. So we'll continue to monitor. All right. Those are our pounds. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. And let's take a look at this dollar Swiss. All right. We had the 80-20 play to the downside. Boom. TP1 achieved. This level is no longer valid. So we'll shift this down. That's our daily support there. It was. It is daily support. 2 to the left. So support level there. And we'll add another support level a little bit lower. So this is going to be interesting to see here, right? We're holding right now at the support level. Are we able to break this and push a little bit lower to get to this 87,272? Right? Beautiful move to the downside. How much deeper do we push? Right? That's the question I have in the back of my mind. Okay. How much deeper do we push before we settle in and then get bullish against these Swissies? Right. But that's where we are on the daily. Down on the 4, similar story. Here we're at a 618 retracement on the 4. Okay. Staying below the cloud, pressing lower. Do we see a shift come? Okay. We know we got a rate statement tomorrow morning for the Swiss National Bank. Be interested to see how this conversation goes, right? Do they cut more? Do they hold? Are they bullish or hawkish in their conversation? Okay. So sitting at a support level right now, settling in, right? What type of reaction do we get tomorrow morning? Okay. That's on the 4, then down to your 1. Same story as the 4, right? 618 retracement settling in there. So keep your eyes on this one as well. Sitting in that deep retracement sweet spot. See if we get the catalyst to really move this back long, right? And then really all the Swiss crosses, right? Do we get a catalyst for those to move back in the opposite direction that of which they've been going? Okay. So that's the dollar Swiss. Any questions here? Looking for some potential C to D moves out of these. All right. And we'll see what happens here. Nope. All right, cool. Go to the NZD Swiss. Stochastic pushing, this is on the 4, pushing to the sell zone. Take this out. Maybe, there we go. So overall, right, We were sitting here waiting on this one for a while. We got to that 382, and then it was just been a pullback. All right. So is this the low price to get back long and head to TP2? Okay. Right. Is this a higher low or a continuation to the upside? Okay. Come back to that 4-hour now. We'll look at, there they go. All right, so that 4-hour fib, similar to that daily, we got to the 382 and we're pulling back. Okay, so TP1 was achieved. So now what happens? Now what happens? So I want to run a sub fib off the low on this just to track these higher lows. There we go. All right, so at 80-20 on the move back down, right? Can we push a little bit deeper into that 618 zone? Right, just to give us the proper risk to reward ratio there and push us into our sweet spot. So I'm going to watch this one from this perspective. If we can get price to push down here, right, then I'll be looking for long opportunities there. Like that. Okay. Let's take a look at the one real quick. This one I think I'm going to be monitoring off the 4 though, but let's see. That got taken out. That also got taken out. Yep. Right, and you see 80-20 is all day long. All over the place. There we go. Oh, look at there. All right, on the 1 hour, 80-20 scenario. Now, what'll be interesting is if we get this push back down to the downside, right? Stochastic pushing into the sell zone. So let's watch this one and see. We know that Swiss has been strong as of late. We got the rate statement coming tomorrow. Let's watch this and see if we can get some additional confirmation on this. Let's see. All right, starting to press against the cloud. We do have a TK crossover there. Let's watch and see here, right? We get a cloud break or a trend line break. Right now, we're just in that consolidation phase. Right, you see just move sideways through our trend line. So we'll adjust that to the outermost point like that. We'll look for a nice bullish trend line break. If we get it, it'll be our additional confirmation on the move to the upside. Okay, if not, we'll see price just slide back down and make it to the D extension. Okay, so here's the smaller move within the move. Questions on the NZD Swiss?
No, that was when you did the 4, you had your fib running to the upside.
Yes.
I had a sub fib running to the downside with an 80-20 with the same result that you did.
Okay, let's see.
So
Right
I had it. Oh no, it's the same. I was looking at something different. No, it's the same. I'm sorry. It's the same.
But this is the 4-hour 80-20 though. So you're
Yeah,
right
yes.
on time.
Okay.
Yep. You're right on time. Yep.
Okay.
So just sitting there in that zone. Absolutely.
Okay.
That was just a larger fib that had running to the upside off the low.
Okay, gotcha.
Right? Yeah. So I just ran them off the low. That's the direction I'm looking for price to go. Right. And so now either, right, that sub fib 80/20 plays out, or we get a push down into the sweet spot,
Mhm.
right? And that D extension is in line with that 618 retracement, right? So possibility, but ultimately looking for a reversal either way you look at it, right? Be it the 80/20 or that larger fib. So good eye on that.
Right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions or thoughts? How do you reduce a trade in MT5? You click on it and you have is the same way you reduce the trade with MT4, right? You click on it, you go to modify or you go to close, and then you change the lot size to the amount that you want to close, right? So if you have say you have 50 cents on a trade and you want to close out 30 cents of it, right? You would either click and hold the trade itself, right? The entry level, if you have that on the screen, or within your open trades, click close, and then it'll take you to the screen to close the trade, but you change the lot size to the amount that you want to take profit on. Right. So if you got 50 cents on, you want to take 30 cents, you want to close 30 cents of that, you change that to 0.03. Right. And then hit close, and it'll close just that amount. I hope that makes sense. I can do a screen record if you need to, but that's how you do it. Okay, I got you. I got you. All right. No questions there. Cool deal. Benny, you got any other pairs you got your eyes on, bro?
No, sir.
Oh, all right. Team, we got a few minutes. Do you guys have any pairs you have your eyes on? I'm gonna take a look at.
So just out of curiosity, I would actually like to look at gold. I'm really trying to see how that is sort of moving with the dollar.
Gold, gotcha. Aussie cat, oil. All right, cool. Range bound as well. Strong bearish action, broke that up trend line, and then just press sideways. Let's dig in a little bit. So we're sitting at 50% retracement there. Came back down to that zone and then slowly moving sideways. So let's go down to the 4. And there's your range on the 4. 50% retracement. Interesting. Overall, just range bound, moving sideways there. And then down on your 1, see if we have a capital fib here. So we'll run this off of this low here. And then, excuse me, because we're choppy, price moving in both directions, those are getting taken out. So we'll come off the high. Here we go. 618 retracement, matching the extension in line with that support level at 2276. All right, so we'll see if we get another press to the downside here, gets that matching the extension. Yeah, maybe one more move to the downside. Stochastic is stuck in the middle. Yep. Look to see if we get one more move to the downside. It gets us back down to 2276, and then see if we get a reset and potentially push back to the upside. Okay, cool deal. Since we're over here on this side of my charts, we'll take a look at oil. Right, so on the 1 hour time frame, you got an 80-20 sitting there at this previous resistance level, $80.39. Let's walk back. So here we are on the daily. Just wanted to make sure nothing was larger there, but boom, right? So this could be interesting. Had to push down, had to move back up, right? Not able to break out to the downside to get to the D extension. Will we continue higher, or will we get a retracement to come here, right? We saw the 80-20 on that 1 hour. Do we get a retracement here to set us up for this crown pattern and a move back along like that? Got an 80-20 here on the sub fib as well on the daily. Okay, so do we get a pullback, come back maybe even deeper than this, but put us into our sweet spot for an opportunity to get long? Got it. All right. So could we get that action? Right. And here's that crown pattern. If that's the way price moves. Okay. If that's the way price moves. So that's that down to the 4. All right. So we'll remove these just to see it clean. We hit the D extension there in line with that previous resistance. And now we're just hovering sideways, right? So at some point we'll get a reset here, right? And get a fresh AB boundary and then see if we get that retracement to come. Okay. And that then takes us back to the 1 hour where we have this 80-20 sitting right here. So looking for a reversal to come, be it with this 80-20 scenario, or even if we push up to that D extension, do we then see price then turn over and push back down? Right, but looking for a retracement on a low price to then get back long on oil. Okay, so trading the 80-20s on the 1, you're sitting right in the zone and you're getting your consolidation. Now the question just is, have your rules been met yet? Or not? All right. So that is oil. 80-20 play right there. Questions? Cool deal. It might end. It might. Into 2022, into 2023, you had all your major central banks buy more gold than they ever have. So all your central banks are sitting on gold reserves, which is kind of contributed to that price pushing to the upside. And we could see it reach $4,000 an ounce at some point, right? We'll continue to watch and see how things go. All right, so there's that. Let's go over to the yeah, I believe it. I believe India is buying now. They got tons of things happening in India from a growth perspective. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see. Aussie CAD. still range bound, right? We're pushing back to the upside, but overall, we're still trapped in this range, right? Still trapped in this range. Positive data for the Aussie, hawkish sentiment coming out of the central bank, right? And you see price pushing to the upside. We got that resistance at 91,842. We'll watch and see how things go, right? Do we get a shift to more of a risk-off sentiment with war concerns, right? And a pickup in oil? If that happens, maybe we see a short-term drop, and then we could see a move back to the upside, depending on how long that lingers. But just range bound right now. Not able to push into that 118, 127 zone yet on the daily. Down on the 4, you do have an 80-20 scenario here. All right, you got your shallow retracement, 118 and 127 zone. We had this sharp move down, and now we got a sharp move back to the upside. So watching this to see, right? Benny talked about yesterday the fundamental side of the Canadian dollar, right? And how it's relatively dovish. Okay, so leaning more towards other currencies in these scenarios with the Canadian dollar. We talk about all of them lining up, right, for these pushes back to the upside. And you see the move that we got from yesterday, right? Sharp move up, 78 pips. So we'll watch and see what happens here if we're able to break this 91,842 level and continue long. Or does something occur to push this back down to the downside, right? But that's the question. There's your 80-20 scenario on the 4. Okay, so this will be an interesting one to watch overall, right? Down on your 1, where we still haven't had that new fib pop in yet, but that new fib would look like this. And you got a 618 retracement there, price trying to press to the upside. So you got back and forth happening, which is indicative of consolidation, right? So it depends on what time frame you trade on and what fundamentally happens to move us in one direction or the other, right? But this one, the key levels that I'm looking at is 91,842 and 92,315. We're able to stay below that zone, right? If we're able to stay below this zone, then I'd love to see price continue moving to the downside there, right? So that's how I'm looking at this one. Just watching that right there. Questions? No doubt. All right, cool deal. Annette said dollar cash, still looking for the buy on the 1. And you could be right, Donette. Because again, here you are. That's on the 1, price pressing to the downside, coming back into our sweet spot. Okay. Come back to the daily. Just bouncing back and forth. We got that 50% retracement. We're coming back to retest the cloud now. Okay. Coming back to retest the cloud. But it's just tight, indecisive moves. Right? You got data coming out for the dollar that says one thing, you got the Fed saying another thing, you got investors looking for opportunities to cut rates. Right? All good, all good. So we're trickling down to the downside there. Okay. Come to the 4. There's your deep retracement. We're back in that zone. So kind of back and forth right now, but my sentiment on this is long too, but we'll see what happens. All right. We'll see what happens. Overall, we're still above the clouds, still got a bullish cloud ahead. Right. Just need price to settle in and then a fundamental catalyst to push us to the upside. Okay. But that is where we are. So bringing it back to here, so where we sit. right? And you see prices moving through the cloud here, right? So that it also tells us consolidation. Okay, so that's where we are. Questions on the dollar CAD? No. Questions on anything that we covered this morning? Holding long. Love it. Benny, anything before we wrap it up, bro?
Oh yeah, just catching up on some articles. The SMB is expected to cut rates
They're expected
tomorrow.
to cut.
So just putting together, gonna read a few more articles just to just like with trading, right? Looking for that confluence. To see is that, that's definitely where it's headed, which I think it is. So I'll get a blog article out on that today.
Appreciate that, bro. Appreciate that. All right, good people. All right, keep your eyes peeled. We're looking at those Swiss crosses. All right, you heard it from Benny. Expectation is to cut rates. We'll see what happens. All right. Accountability group tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tap in if you're able to. You guys have a phenomenal Wednesday. We'll be back at it tomorrow morning at 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for this pre-New York session with my awesome partner, Mr. Benny Allen. Have a phenomenal day. Peace.